Okay. So, who else is from the States? I'm curious to know. So, we have Virginia, I think Washington, somebody from New York, I think, and somebody else from Florida. And case A, Jacob, hello. So, I am in Florida, Miami. So just give it a couple of minutes and then I'm going to dig deep directly to the roots of fear of failure. Okay? And before I will start talking about it, I'd like to know I'd like to know um, when you hear the word fear of failure, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? What is your perspective about it when you hear fear of failure? I would like you to engage with me and tell me. And by the way, there is no right and wrong answer. I'm just curious. I want you to tell me what is the first thing that pop up in your mind when you hear the word fear of failure or the pattern with fear of failure. Actually, it's not a word, it's a pattern. Okay, let's see who is here, who has just joined. I'm trying to see everyone, so if any one of you didn't see me, if I didn't say hi to anyone, sorry about that, but I'm trying my best. So we have Khadija, I think, yeah. We have Rifi, hello. We have Vidat, hello. And we have Khadija. We have Alpha, and we have Death. Okay, that's kind of a name. We have Zahra. So Death is asking, what are we doing here? So today I'm talking about the pattern fear of failure. So my question is, in your point of view, what is fear of failure? What's the first thing that pop up into your mind when you hear the pattern fear of failure? I hope I answered your question. So let me see. We have an answer here. You want to do something, but the thought of messing up stops you from even trying. Yes, you got it, Miha. Thank you so much. Exactly. You want to do something, whatever this thing is. Either you want to learn something new, or you want to learn a new skill, let's say, or you want to open a business, or you want to change your work, or even you want to start working, or you want to I would also say change the country. Like, I'm talking about really heavy things. So when you are afraid to fail, that stops you from even trying. You don't even try to do the first step. There is scenarios in your mind, mainly negative thoughts. Oh my God, if I did this, maybe I will fail. Maybe I will be judged by people if I don't succeed. All right. Thank you for your answer. I'm happy to hear somebody else. Hi, Amri. Hi, user. Hi, Milud. Okay. Hi, Fami. Thank you. Okay. Any one of you would like to share with me? When you hear the pattern or the fear of failure, what's the first thing that come into your mind? Do we have somebody else here? Hi, Iman. Hi, Mafia. I like how creative you are in your names, Mafia, Dev. Okay. Who else is here? You are blocked. Yes, exactly. So what happened here, I'm just trying to give an example of really being blocked, which is like would be a valid example for really feeling this feeling of being blocked or being stuck. Maybe you have a decision that you need to make. okay? And this decision, there would be consequences behind it. So you're completely blocked. You're like, if I decide this, maybe it will not work the way I wanted. Maybe I will not get the results I wanted. Maybe it will not work for me. So you're completely blocked. You're completely scared and afraid to fail. And there is those scenarios in your mind. Thank you for your share. Okay. Let's see who. So answer me. I'm curious to know. For you, what is fear of failure? Hi, Shihamta. All right. Okay. You say it all, but people. Okay. People are. Okay. Let's talk about that. So, the fact that you have something or you don't have it, because somebody here talked about money, the fact that you have something or you don't have it, you need to be boosted to start. Even it's not about, okay, I don't have money to travel, I don't have money to buy this and that, but what should I do on that point? Should I just sit and say, oh, I don't have money, oh, I cannot learn something new? Or should I do the first step? Okay, I'm going to work this first job. Maybe it's not really wow, but it's okay. I'll get a little bit of money from it, and then I'll try something else, and then I'll try something else, and then I'll try something else. So this is how you start. It's the first step, okay? So it's not about having or not having. It's being able to do the first step. So if you have this thought, it means you are afraid even to start. Okay. All right. So fear means you cannot start. Exactly. Yeah. Fear means you cannot start. You always put in blockage. I cannot do this because of this. I cannot do this because of this. So if I ask you here, what stops you? You give me another answer. Let's see. Life not that easy. Work for other, not necessary for me. Okay. What stops you from trying to find work? You will tell me there is no work. Okay. So, you need to keep on looking. That's it. Life is not easy. Of course, life is not easy. If it's not easy, if it was easy, it would not be called life. It would be called heaven. Okay, let's go back to our subject. That was between brackets. So let's see who is here before I start. So we have Tausi, hello. We have Stefan, hello Stefan. For those who are from the States, I'm curious to know from which states you are. I'm from Florida. There are people from New York, from Washington, from Virginia, from Florida also. Omaima said, yes, if you don't try, you have nothing. Yes, you got it. If you don't try, you have nothing. So it's always about the first step. Maybe that suits you, will work better. Okay. All right. Hi, Nini. Sucks. I do have 3 different jobs. Oh, very good. That's what we're talking about. Shadow. So that's good. I like that all of you are encouraging one of our of the one, I forgot his name. One who had little bit negative thoughts, and I really like that. You're all encouraging him and pushing him. That's very good thing, because okay. So, what are the roots of failure? So fear of failure does not appear out of nowhere. Okay? So the fear of failure is not random, and it's definitely not a personality flaw. So it's not random and it's not a personality flaw. Hi Nisax, hi Yusra, hi Salma. So fear of failure is learned. For the person, I forgot his name. It doesn't have really a name. It's like DH something. So I would like you to hear that very good. So fear of failure is learned. Okay? Usually early in life. It's something that you learn in your childhood. You're not born with it. It's something that you learn in your childhood. So for many people, it begins in an environment where mistakes did not feel safe. So for instance, when you do a mistake in your environment, and what I mean by your environment, it can be in like at your house or maybe at school, like when you were a kid. So there was no safe environment for mistakes. So if you do a mistake, you will not feel safe. Why? So I'm going to give you here a couple of examples and I'd like you to really concentrate with me. All right, let's see who is here. Hi Oscar, hi Nisax. So the first example, which I have just shared, which is criticism or high expectation. So being criticized, or the others are expecting from you high expectation. So the mistakes that you did as a child, you were punished, you were judged. Fear for the exam. Yeah, exactly. You have this fear before attending your exam. So the nervous system learned a simple rule. Thank you, Nisax. So he learned a simple rule, which is failure equals danger. So that is the rule that the nervous system learned. If I fail, there is danger there, which means I am not going to try. I don't want to have this feeling. Okay? Hi, Abdul Karim. Hi, Noah. So this is the first root, which is criticism and high expectations. Okay. And when failure equals danger, it's not because failure is bad, but because it was followed by shame, criticism, or withdrawal, or approval. So I'd like to repeat it one more time, and I need from you your attention, because this is a very important point, okay? Which is, failure is not bad. What is bad is when we were children, okay? When we do a mistake, when we fail in something, in anything, we got criticized. We got blamed. So what are those feelings that we had in that moment? So we felt mainly shame, criticism, or withdrawal. So that's what stopped us from trying again, because I don't want to feel shame. I don't want to feel criticized. So I'm just going to stay safe and not do anything, because if I fail, I will be criticized. People will laugh at me. People will judge me. I will even feel that I am a failure. Okay? Just checking if anyone is new here. Hello, Tausi. Punished, exactly. When children are punished at a very early age, this is exactly what happened. They will start being afraid to start anything. They will always connect failure to the feeling of being criticized, to the feeling of being judged. So when we grow, we're blocked, we're stuck, because we don't want to have this feeling. We don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to feel judged. So I'm not going to do that thing. I'm not going to learn that skill. I'm not going to change job. It's so risky. I'm not going to start a business. Maybe I will fail. Maybe I will not have customers. Maybe nobody wants to buy my products or services. So there is always this fear running in the background, which is in your mind because of what happened in your childhood. Okay, thank you. Who else? Frustration? Yes, frustration. Oh, exactly. So you feel frustrated. Okay. Hi, Lucky. I think I remember you were in one of my lives before. I like to see the same people again. Okay. Yeah, exactly. When you know the answer and you don't raise your hand. Exactly. That's a very valid example, Nancy. Thank you so much. It's actually, imagine it happens when you are at school, okay? When you are at school, I'm sure for those who have this, I did have that at a period of my life. I was scared to raise my hands, because if I raise my hand and my answer might be wrong or I might do a mistake, I'm afraid that my classmates will laugh at me, or I will be criticized, or even my teacher will tell me something that I don't like. So I don't raise my hand. And what happened is the same exact behavior, you will take it with you as an adult. So when you are in a meeting, let's say you're working in a company and there is like a weekly meeting or a monthly meeting, and then during that meeting, the one who is holding the meeting, the manager, supervisor, or whoever, he's asking all of you about your opinions about something new, a new project, or about change in the company. And everyone is raising his hand and everyone is talking, but you cannot. Why? Because you're afraid that maybe I will say something wrong, maybe somebody will laugh at me, and then guess what? Maybe one of your colleagues will say the exact same idea that you were hesitating to say. And what happened here? You just feel frustrated, you feel bad, and there is like a war inside of you. Oh my God, I should have said it. Why I did that? So the best way is to work on your fear of failure. And how to do that is by reprogramming your subconscious mind through coaching, through NLP coaching. And I'm going to talk about that in a while, about how NLP is powerful to reprogram these patterns so that you won't have them anymore. All right, let's see who's here. Hi Mehdi, hi Zainab, hi Turbo. Okay, so let's carry on. So that was the first rule, the first root. Okay, so now I'm going to step into the second root, which is conditional approval. Conditional approval, which means when love, praise, or attention were tied to performance. Okay? Where love, attention were tied to performance. So what does that mean? I will only get attention if I perform good. I will only get loved, for example, if I have a good grade. And I would like to highlight something here for if there is any parents here. Just be careful when you talk to your children. Saying things like, I will only love you if you have a good grade, or you're only going to be my son or my daughter if you have a good grade. So you put in a negative thought in his mind or in her mind that my mom or my dad will only love me if I have a good grade. If I don't have a good grade, they will not love me, which is a very negative thought that some parents give to their children. I know that they're not trying to do bad things to them. They're trying to maybe to motivate them, but a child at that age, this is what he will understand. If I perform in a good way, or if I have good grade, I am loved. If I am not performing on having good grades, I am not loved. Okay? Let's see if any one of you have any other answer. Okay. Okay, I've got a question. How can I turn my fear of failure into action instead of stress? Okay, thank you so much, Miha, for this question. So, the fear of failure is a pattern that is learned in childhood. As I just explained it now. So you learn this pattern from being a kid till 6 years old. Okay? So in order for you to shift this pattern and not to have it, you cannot work on this pattern on a behavior, on a conscious level. Because we as a human being, we have the conscious and the subconscious. And we operate from the subconscious. We operate almost 95% from the subconscious and only 5% from the conscious. So what you need right now is to go back to the subconscious and reprogram this pattern, which is the fear of failure. Then you would not have that. So whenever you will have a situation where you need to act, you will not have these negative scenarios. Oh my God, I'm going to fail. Oh my God, I'm not going to have this job. Oh my God, you will not have that negative scenario. You will directly put all your focus in fear of failure. All your focus in what you are going to do, in the task that you are going to do. So I'm going to explain this in real details, how NLP as a practical tool can dissolve this pattern, not change it, not mask it, but dissolve it from the roots. Okay, so I'll carry on with a couple of roots and then I will explain it in extreme details, Miha, so stay with me. So if any one of you have any other question, I'm very happy to answer about fear of failure. Okay, let's see here. Parents love children if they perform well. Exactly. Parents tend to say this sentence, which is not good for children. As I already said, for them, they're trying to motivate them, they're trying to push them, but the kid did not, or let's say it in this way, the brain of the kid at that age would not understand that, because it's not mature enough to understand what the parents mean. What the kid will understand at that time is, I am only loved if I perform. Hi Aisha from New York. Hello. Failing the exam, exactly. So if you fail the exam, you also have this fear. Maybe I fail in this exam. Are you welcome? Always happy to answer anyone who... Hi, Simo. Okay. So talking about this particularly, talking about the conditional approval, what the nervous system learns. Oops. I think I did it by mistake. All right. What the nervous system learns. So the nervous system learned that my value depends on getting it right. That was exactly what I explained to you by giving examples. My value depends on getting it right. So if I'm getting things right, I have value. If I'm not getting things right, I don't have value. Hi Nermin, hi Cavani. Okay? So failure then becomes threatening, not because of the outcome, but because it risks loss of belonging. So you're afraid you will not belong also. Everybody's successful and I am not. So I'm afraid to not belong to the group, so I'm not going to try. I'm going to stay where I am. This happens mainly when people want to change their lives or change their jobs or change their career. They are afraid to start from scratch, because when you start from scratch, you're going to start really from the beginning, and you have your peers and people around you that are already in some stages, and imagine you're starting from scratch, new career or new work. So that's really, I'm changing. Okay, let's see who is here. Hi Ziad, hi Dennis. I'm changing, believe me. Good, that's great. It's really good to change, because we as human beings, we have the ability to change. We just need to want to change and be aware of the patterns that we have. All right, so I'm going to carry on with the third root, which is unpredictable emotional environment. So you live in an environment where there is unpredictability, especially emotionally. Your parents are unpredictable. You don't know what they can do. You're always in this fear. So I'll give you an example here. So when parents, teachers, or peers were inconsistent, they are not consistent on what they're doing, sometimes supportive, sometimes harsh. So you're like, sometimes they're supportive and sometimes they are harsh with me. So what happened here? Your nervous system learned something. If I take risk, I don't know what will happen. So I'm not going to take risk. If I take risk, I don't know what will happen, because there is no consistency. So it became safer to hesitate than to act. So I hesitate, I don't act. Oh my God, should I do this? No, maybe I should not do it. Or if I do it, maybe this thing happen. Or so you have all this loop inside your brain, inside your mind. You're like, oh my God, should I do it? Should I not do it? Okay. And also we have another root, which is early responsibility or perfection roles. Early responsibility or perfection roles. And I tackled perfectionism pattern in a couple of, I think in 2 weeks ago. So it's linked. And I remember Maha told me that it is linked, that she find out that perfectionism is linked to fear of failure. Yes, exactly. So this root is confirming it, that fear of failure and perfectionism are linked. So when you had, and here I'm going to give you an example for that early responsibility or perfection roles. So hear me out, because I always believe that examples, you will remember them much more than anything else. So when you had to grow up fast, like be the responsible one or take care of others, mistakes felt costly. So you are growing up as a kid, and you have the responsibility to take care of others. What happened here, or what your nervous system learned, is mistakes are costly. Why? Because I am responsible for other people. And this mainly happens between siblings. One of the siblings is responsible for the others. So for him, or what his nervous system will learn, is mistakes are costly. And I would like you here to share with me if any one of you is this kid or was this kid. He was the responsible one in the family or between his siblings. So you're scared to do a mistake because mistakes are going to be costly, because you're not responsible only for yourself, you're responsible for all your siblings. Me, thank you. Who else? Thank you, H. Me, okay. We have two people who said me. Who else? So here what happens, what the mind learned. So the mind learned, I can't afford to get this wrong. I can't afford to get this wrong. I have to get it right. So over time, these experiences don't stay as memories. They turn into subconscious programs. They're not memories anymore. They turn and become subconscious programs. And these programs don't show up as fear screaming in your head. They don't show up usually as fear screaming in your head. They show up differently. They show up as hesitation, self-doubt, over-preparation, or even avoidance. So think about it. Every time you feel hesitant, every time you self-doubt yourself, every time you over-prepare, every time you avoid, know that you have the pattern of fear of failure. So now that I explain it in this way, I would like you here in the comment to share with me if you feel that you have this pattern, and write yes, just yes. Because in a moment I will dive deep into how fear of failure shows up in everyday life. So we have one yes, another yes. Who else? Berry, yes. Okay, who else? So I will repeat it one more time. For those who has just joined, today's topic is fear of failure. So how fear of failure shows quietly, it doesn't show as a fear, it shows as hesitation, it shows as self-doubt, it shows as over-preparation or even avoidance. So send me yes if you are experiencing this. And in a moment, I will share with you how fear of failure shows up in everyday life. Yes, Aisha. Who else? Hi, James. Hi, Sufyan. I'll give you time to answer. Hi, wise man. Hi, dream. So my question here, for those who have just joined, if you ever feel that you would like to do something, but there is like a hesitation inside of you, there is a self-doubt, you are avoiding or you are over preparing, that shows that you have the pattern of fear of failure. So send me yes if you have it. So I'm going to explain you how fear of failure shows up in everyday life. So fear of failure does not always look dramatic. It does not. So most of the time, it hides in very ordinary moments. Very, very ordinary moments. Like you delay starting a project because the timing isn't right yet. It's about this moment. Oh, it's not the right time to start the project. Oh, really? Is it really because it's not the right time, or there's something behind that? So it's that moment, that thought, that stops you from moving forward, from stepping just one tiny step. It's that moment. And this happened not because you're lazy, but because starting feels risky. So you give excuses like, it's not the right time, let's wait a little bit. Yeah. Hi GD, hi Amin. How? Okay, it's practice, Amin. Just keep on talking. Practice, practice. Writing, hearing. Three things: speaking, writing, and listening. Speaking, writing, listening. Speaking, writing, listening. Okay? And if you can do it on a daily basis, 10-15 minutes, it's you would progress. All right, that was between brackets. So for those who has just joined, I am tackling fear of failure. And now I'm talking about how this pattern shows up in everyday life. So you rehearse conversations endlessly before speaking. You rehearse conversation endlessly before speaking. And not because you want perfection, but because being misunderstood once felt unsafe. Because being misunderstood once felt unsafe. You check and recheck your work, even when it's already good. Your work is good, it's amazing, but you check it and recheck it. And not because it's wrong, but because once mistakes had consequences. Okay? I'm here giving you a couple of examples how fear of failure shows up in your everyday life. So if it shows up in examples that I am sharing with you, know that you have this pattern. I am showing to you a couple of examples, not all, because basically there will be much more examples at how this pattern is manifested in your life, but just to have an overall idea, okay? Because fear of failure is that moment before taking the action. It's that thought. So you avoid trying new things, even small ones, even very tiny small things. Because staying familiar feels safer than exploring. So you prefer to stay with the familiar things rather than exploring or trying new things. Decisions. And this is a very critical thing that lots of people have, which is decision making. Second guessing decisions after you have already made them, questioning your abilities instead of trusting yourself. So either you already took a decision and you are over questioning yourself. Did I took the right decision? Oh my God, no, I didn't take the right decision. Selma, go ahead. Go ahead if you have a question. Okay, that's nice. So I will carry on. Hi, Safe. So I will share with you here the key insight. Fear of failure is not protecting you. Hi, Safe. It's restricting you. It is restricting you. So after I share with you all those examples, I would be happy if you write in the comment which one you are struggling with. Is it the decision making? Is it the overthinking after you take a decision? Is it giving excuses like, it's not the right time to start my project? What is it? How is it manifested in your life? I'm very curious to know. You can write here in the comments. I'll give you a moment. Hi, no trust. Some creative names. I have an issue with decision making. It's hindering me and I cannot get past this obstacle. All right, Jidnak. If you do have that, it means that you have the fear of failure. You are afraid that your decision might be wrong. You are doing the wrong decision. Or maybe you are missing out on something by taking this decision. Hesitation, thank you for your share, and I will go through it in a moment. I will explain it in details, how you can get past this obstacle. Hesitation and overthinking and fear of failure. Thank you, Safe. Yes, hesitation also is a real struggle because you want to do something and you hesitate. Should I do this? Should I do that? And you feel that you are blocked, which leads you to extreme overthinking. Okay, thank you, Safe. Anybody else? Thank you for the rose. Okay. Thank you. So it keeps you preparing instead of acting. So you are preparing instead of acting. Thinking instead of experiencing. Waiting instead of moving. So you are stuck. You are blocked. You are just thinking, waiting, preparing, but no action. From an NLP perspective, NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, for those who has just joined, and I am an NLP coach, trainer, and consultant. This isn't a motivation issue. It's not because you are not motivated. No, it's not that at all. And it's not about confidence. You're not confident. No, not at all. It's about safety. You want to feel safe, because taking a step seems very risky. So the nervous system is still operating by old rules. Rules that made sense once but no longer serves you. And what I mean by it made sense once, it refers to your childhood. In your childhood, when you got this pattern, it did make sense. But now as an adult, it is hindering you. It is stopping you. It is blocking you from growth, from success, from achieving your goals. Let's see. Hi, who else is... When people around you criticize you, exactly. When people around you criticize you. So once we recognize all that, something powerful happens. We stop fighting ourselves, because there is a fight inside. Should I do this? I should not do this. Why I am hesitating? So there is a fight going on. And we need to restart reprogramming this pattern at its roots. Okay? So I would like to ask you here if there is any question till now, before I will dig deep on how NLP help you dissolve this pattern, not manage it, not mask it, but resolve it at the root. So I'll just give you a moment if you have any question. No question for me? All right. Good. So I'll keep going. So how does NLP actually dissolve perfectionism? Not mask it, not manage it, but resolve it at the root. So the answer is simple. NLP works directly with the source of the pattern, the core programming of the mind. So the source of the pattern, which is the core programming of the mind. So instead of trying to change behavior on the surface, you are trying to change behavior, which is taking a decision, which is acting. And it doesn't work, of course. It's rarely effective. It's like you're fighting against yourself. And what I mean by you fighting against yourself, there is a fight between your conscious and your subconscious. Because those patterns like fear of failure and many other patterns, are stored in your subconscious mind. So instead of trying to change behavior on the surface, which is really effective, NLP works with the language of the mind and the subconscious processes that created fear of failure in the first place. How to do that? That's the question. So I'll explain to you right now how. So in NLP, we go back to the very first moment when the pattern was created, when you felt that feeling, when you felt that I don't want to feel criticized. You had this heavy feeling inside of you. I don't want to feel judged. I don't want to feel laughed at. So when the pattern was formed, the original experiences where the mind learned that mistakes were dangerous. And that in order for you not to fail, you need to do things in a way so that you feel safe and accepted. So how to do or how to work on that? So in NLP, we don't relive the past to suffer again. We don't do that. We revisit it safely from a different perspective. So we revisit that moment in the past from a different perspective, okay? And bring in resources that were not available at that time. So we revisit that moment from a different perspective, and we bring in resources that were not available at that time. So what happens, or when that happens? The emotional charge of the memory shifts. You don't have any more emotional charge of the memory that you had in your mind. So the event stays the same, obviously. What did happen, happened. But its influence on your nervous system changes. It doesn't have the same emotional charge. Its influence on your nervous system changes. So you are not erasing memories. You are not denying reality, okay? You are not fooling yourself or rewriting facts. You are adding possibilities that were not there at that time in your childhood. You are updating the program. You are updating your subconscious program. So going back to my story that I shared, which is, I will share it now briefly, just for you to understand, for those who has just joined today. So before, I used to, like when I was a kid, I didn't actually learn how to ride a bicycle. And growing up as an adult, I want to learn it because I always had that urge, that feeling. I want to feel this feeling being on a bicycle and riding it. For me, it was like something I missed in my childhood. And I couldn't do that. Why I couldn't do that? Because of all what I have explained to you earlier. Because I'm afraid to be judged. People will laugh at me. Maybe I will fall down. So all those scenarios and all those negative thoughts were running in the background in my mind. Therefore, I didn't do it. I was postponing, hesitating, giving excuses. And to be honest, I also didn't have the opportunity adding to those negative beliefs. But when I got rid of those negative beliefs, and when I didn't have this fear of failure, and when I had the opportunity, I was able to learn. And luckily, I did learn in 4 days. 4 days. Why? Because there was nothing running in my mind, in my background. Oh my God, I'm going to fall. Oh my God, people are going to laugh at me. Oh my God, I'm going to feel judged. All those negative thoughts were not there. They disappear. And I will tell you in a moment how. So they disappear. So I was concentrated, or I had like this laser concentration on the task, which is riding a bicycle. That's why I learned it in very short days. Okay. For those who has just joined, hi Mohammed, hi. What a story. Fear is the core of success. Thank you so much. Okay, so now I'm going to carry on and share with you how this fear of failure got dissolved from the roots. So I was coached, and this actually happened in last year, 2025. So I was coached by one of my NLP classmates, okay? She took me back to my earliest memory, the earliest memory of being criticized as a child. So when she took me back to that memory, using NLP, I gave myself the resources that I didn't have. Sorry about that. So I gave myself the resources that I didn't have at that time, at that moment. All right? So that memory no longer had power over me. It has no power over me, emotional power. So what happened in the past, this situation didn't change, but the emotional charge has shifted. And when the emotional charge has shifted, the fear of failure dissolved. So I would like here to highlight one extremely important point and one extremely important distinction, which is you are not changing history, you are changing the meaning behind it. So the history stays the same, but we are changing the meaning behind it. So the mind does not suffer because of what happened. It does not suffer because of what happened. And this is exactly what I would like you to understand about how the mind works. The mind does not suffer because of what happened. It suffers because of the meaning it learned from what happened. So the mind learned a meaning from what happened. And here I would like to stop and give you an example about that particular idea. You welcome Dia, which is that sometimes in a household where there are siblings, okay? Let's say two siblings, one is 4 years old, the other one is 5 years old. And there is like a fight between the parents, and this fight happened in front of the kids. Unfortunately, this should not happen, but it could happen. So when these two kids watch their parents fighting, each one of them will take this situation differently. So this is what I mean here by the mind suffer not because of what happened. It suffers because of the meaning it learned from what happened. Maybe one of the kids would have or would think about or would give a meaning of, oh, my parents, they're just fighting because, I don't know, they're tired, maybe. And maybe the other kid would have a different meaning, and he would say, oh, my parents, they are fighting because in this morning I didn't, I'm just trying to find an example. I didn't have a good grade at school. So he relates their fight to him, while the other kid does not relate the fight to him. He relates the fight to something going on to them. So both of them, they have experienced the same situation, the exact same situation. But how they give it meaning, that was the difference. And that's how... thank you. So I hope that my example is clear. Okay? So it's actually not about what happens to you. It's about the meaning you give to what happens to you. And NLP helps you update that meaning by giving resources that you didn't have at that moment. So old programs that no longer serve you are transformed, because your subconscious now has new perspective, new options, new resources. Good example, thank you. I'm trying my best to give examples because I think a concept can be clear or not clear, but an example would really make you understand it much clearly. Okay? So old programs that no longer serve you are transformed because your subconscious now has new perspectives, new options, new resources. And when the mind has more choices, patterns like fear of failure naturally loosen. So patterns like fear of failure naturally loosen. So this to highlight that NLP is really fast, precise, and deeply transformational. So I'm about to end the live right now, and I'm opening for you, for those who were here with me from the beginning, or even for those who has just joined, if you have any question concerning the topic, fear of failure. If you have any question, you can just write it in the comments, and I will question about the subject, and I will go ahead and answer it. Okay? This is good. Thank you, Gia. Thank you. And for those who are here, next week I'm going to talk about fear of success. So if you would like to follow me, to put follow, I think somewhere here, so that you will be able to see my other lives. And every week I do live on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday about the same topic, but I talk about it in details. And you also are able to ask any questions regarding it. So next week is going to be about fear of success. This week it was about fear of failure. So today is the last day. Next week is going to be about fear of success. And as I said, it's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 5 Eastern Time, Florida time, 5 Eastern Time. Let me check if any one of you has a question. Okay. So thank you everybody for being here, for being active. I hope that I gave you useful information and insights that would clarify this pattern, and you could see if you have it or not. Because the first step to change is awareness, being aware of things that we have, and we never had the time to stop our lives and check if we are having some patterns, and those patterns are stopping us or are blocking us. And I will see you next week, as I said, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5 p.m. ET, and it's going to be about fear of success. Okay? And I will end it with my quote, which is, outside is good, inside is cold.